Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to EV World News, where we talk about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. I have a new co-host today, my good friend Adib Khaldi from SimplePicks. How's it going, Adib?
Hey, how you doing, David? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you being on here, and hoping you can continue to be my co-host on Fridays. And Fridays is the one day. The other days we generally cover just news topics, but Fridays we've stuck to just stocks. Okay,
Mm,
so it's interesting to see and get a different perspective on some things. Well, we're going to start today with obviously the 800-pound gorilla in the EV industry. We're going to talk about Tesla a little bit. So I'm curious what we're seeing here because about 3 weeks ago there was some article. Some guy was talking about how he thought Tesla was going to drop to like $95. Okay,
oh,
and I thought that was interesting because they missed earnings on their last earnings call. And they didn't miss it by a lot, but there was a little bit. There's a lot of pressure that kind of going on there. Before you say anything on there, Reuters put out an article that for November, we're seeing a
mhm.
10% year-over-year rise in car sales in the United States, a 10.2% jump from
It's
a year.
huge.
And it's big, but there's a couple things. Now, this is all cars. This isn't EVs. This is all cars. But there's a 1.9% decline in transaction prices of new cars, which that's interesting. So rising interest rates have definitely stopped inflation to a degree. The average price of new vehicles has been $45,300 in the United States, and so that's definitely a drop from what we've seen. So you want to take a look at Tesla, and feel free to share your screen if you want to.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we'll take a look here. Rising inflation risk, of course, interest rates, and a lot of the economic weight downs are probably slowing the market down. Yes, around COVID, all the used cars and all the vehicles, all the prices exploded because
It's
supply just
crazy.
was slow, stagnant, right? But as things have opened back up, kind of missed your chance there to capitalize if you're in that boat there. I'll share my screen here, and we'll start looking at a couple of these stocks.
Great, great.
Uh, So Tesla, I'm a long-term bull of Tesla. I do like Tesla. I think it's a phenomenal company and has done really really well. As of most recently, I put out a tweet probably what was this? Which would have been like 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, at around here the 150 or 130 150 mark. I remember. So this essentially was kind of my point of interest after I had seen quite a large decline from last year into this new year. We all know Tesla's a great company, fundamental wise. They're solid. Of course, you'd like to see their sales to be higher. The valuation just doesn't quite, make sense to me when we look at the sales. But the technology is really what bolsters it up to be so high. Of course, I'm not really a fundamental guy to begin with. I look at the fundamentals when I invest for the long term, but when we do any kind of trading or speculate on short term prices, we usually look at technicals and charts. After that long, actually, which again is publicly on my Twitter, you can see that I told Elon that I'm never going to short Tesla again. This was back when it was 140, I think, and I initiated a long on it. That long was extremely successful. As you can see around here, ended up taking us all the way to $300, which is a great point of interest. I don't own any Tesla stock myself, but I do recall actually just a little over a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Yeah, must have been around. Yeah, it must have been around 2 months ago or so. My partner, my girlfriend, owns a bunch of Tesla stock. And I took a look at the chart and I told her, hey, you got to sell some stock here. It's $300. Time for you to get out. Of course, she took my opinion in consideration. She went out, and as we can see here, that's been toppy since then. We've kind of hit a moving average here, as they would call it, where let's go into a little bit deeper here. We can look at the 21-day and the 50-day moving averages. And we can see, Yeah, we can see that at this point right now, Tesla is actually just bouncing off of its 50-day trailing moving average right here, which is signified by this channel over down here. Definitely an area of interest here. Long term or if I'm gonna take a look at Tesla and speculate where it's going to be tomorrow, or maybe let's say a week from today, I would reckon that it will definitely have to hold this $225 line. When we do some trading and we look at technicals, what I like to study is the Fibonacci retracements. That 225 is actually the perfect 31 sequence, or 0.31 they call it, or 0.32. So essentially, that is about a 30% down from where the high was most recently. And we can signify that actually by the top of this channel at 270. So where do I see Tesla going? I see Tesla actually just trending between the 225 line and 235 for a push here towards end of December and early January. It does coincide with what typically happens in the markets. We usually get a Santa Claus rally, is what they call. I think this year we're lining up for another Santa Claus rally, and I think the top on Tesla is going to be about 270, and that's signified by the weekly charts here. When we look at a long-term chart from where our predictions were, it played into this channel, but unfortunately, it's too much bullishness to maintain this type of valuation, in my opinion. We're going to hit 270, 269, and bounce right back down. And for myself, if I'm going to look to long this particular stock, I'm probably waiting for that 150 retest. If I'm a long-term investor, I'm waiting for the 150, 160 zone. If I'm a short-term investor, I'm buying between 210 and 225 on any kind of pullback here in the most recent.
So is this a situation where you'd sell some puts?
This is a situation where, in the short term, for the Santa Claus rally, yes, you can definitely sell some puts and feel a little comfortable. We do have bullish momentum. We have bullish trajectory here, as you can see. Based on this trend line channel, we're in an upper trend line. So, essentially, anywhere's above here and here. Uh, Anywhere's above this channel right here would probably signify anything bullish. So again, the 225 to the 230 mark would probably be very, very safe. So if you're going to write some puts and you want to collect some premium while the market is in an upward trajectory here, I would probably write the 210 or the $200 put. You're going to collect some premium. I don't have it in front of me right now, but you're going to collect some premium. And I think, based on my opinion, it'll continue to trend above that $225 mark. Yes.
Nice, nice. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Lucid a little bit.
Sure.
Uh, And Lucid is an interesting stock because while they make fantastic cars, they're much more expensive than Tesla, higher build quality, very much in line with a high-end Mercedes. And they're coming out now with this Lucid Gravity for next year, which is going to be their SUV, which it's about time they did that. And the other thing is a very large percentage of the company is owned by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and they're going to start making Lucids in Saudi Arabia. So Lucid's definitely a company that's going to be around. They're not going to go anywhere. Having the sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia backing them, they're not going to fail.
Mm-hmm. No, no, definitely not with all the petrodollar behind you. Doesn't seem like they make any money right now. So
Not
they're
yet.
still
No,
in, yeah,
they're definitely a cash alligator. I mean, they're blowing through cash. At
they're
one
blowing it.
point,
Yeah.
yeah, we've talked about this on the show a couple times. They were losing like $226,000 for every car they produced. They're
Mm,
selling a car for 120. I saw something. They're selling a car for 150. It was something. It was making their car worth almost a $500,000 each. You know, but a
well,
lot of that was because of sunk costs. Into facilities and stuff like that.
I mean, their profit margins are improving. So that means they're efficiently able to build these vehicles now, but they're still losing money. Unfortunately, they're not able to even turn over any profits. Take a look at the revenues real quick. I don't actually use this view very much. I like Yahoo Finance more. But oh God. I mean, okay. Yeah, this company is needs some time.
Yeah, they
Um,
definitely do.
but they're doing all right in terms of their debt. So that must I think they have a lot of cash. Is that what's going
They
on right now?
do. They do have cash.
Yeah, yeah.
They do have cash, and like I said, people know that they're going to start. The kingdom wants them to build like 125,000 cars a year in Saudi Arabia. They're not
Mm.
making anywhere near that quantity of cars. I don't even think they're making. They're not even making 10,000 cars a year yet.
Well, this is pretty good because what I'm seeing here is their assets are increasing. I'm assuming this is probably cash. I have to look into it. Uh, Non-current assets. So yeah, they're raising money. That's what they're doing over the last couple of quarters. They it looks like they've raised some money, but they kept their debts at the same. So they probably sold the stock, and most likely that's what happened. Um, but to me, this looks like a decently healthy growing company in terms of their expenditures and their debts. They're not drowning in debt, and they own a decent amount of assets. I assume this is their factories, and
Yes.
where they probably produce them. So this is pretty good, man. This is a good stock. It's beat down a lot. I like it, to be honest with you. I mean, from my perspective, this is the bottom. I mean, I can't say for certain it's the bottom, but I know that when we cross over this 4.5 mark, we are probably bottoming out. I mean, I could see this here. This is the lowest point it's ever been.
Yeah,
Uh,
after they went public back in 2020, they uh they peaked out at like 50, almost $53.
this is
And,
great. David, excellent catch. I am buying Lucid Monday. I like this company. I'm probably going to take some options on this. I'll give you guys a play here. So what I would like to see on this is actually a breakout of this downwards channel, as you can see here. If you see the daily chart, back since April, they've been selling it down since $8. They've been selling it down. So it's done about 80% since, or no, sorry, it's done about 60% since then. This downwards channel here, I'd like to see it get broken out. Clearly here it attempted to happen, but doesn't seem like it was any luck over here. So essentially we want to try again for another breakout, which is most likely going to land right here. That's going to attempt to either continue above this channel here and go into new realms, or get smacked back down and potentially retest anywhere in this area. So, for me, this is a pretty high probability play of success. Why? It's beat
what
down.
time frame? What time frame are
This
you thinking?
this is daily, so this is a good swing trade. I wouldn't take this as a like a day trade. I would take this as a swing trade. I'll give you guys actually the options that I'm going to play. I'm going to price this out for everybody here, so anybody can take advantage of what we're dissecting live. Um, Give me a second here. So if we go into the weekly time frame, we can see that this bottom has definitely been put in by this reversal candle here. So it got sold really hard. It capitulated. This is probably capitulation here. Anytime I see a bottom wick, it creates an actual trading range. So sometimes when I see these wicks, I create the trading range as something like right there. Might move it up just a little. And then I look at my other kind of like long wick, and that's this one right here, which creates this new trading range. What I would like to see is this stock play around here, not go below here, and eventually trend up to here, which is, this breakout that we'd like to see in this area or this area. Now, what I reckon will happen on Monday morning is it's going to open right here. It's not going to even do this. It's just going to open right here. It's going to gap up and it's going to go. My opinion. So what do I want to play? I would probably play the $6 call or the $7 call on a little bit of a longer time frame. Let's zoom out here a little bit more and look at the 4-hour chart. Yeah, this is ripe and ready for breakout. I mean, the simple
You
picks
thinking on
method
like
will tell you.
on a couple of weeks, on a couple of week
Yeah,
option, probably.
yeah. This is gonna for sure break out. I mean, that for most definitely, and I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I give advice. It's definitely breaking out to this area and retesting the 470 zone. Once it lingers in this 470 zone, as long as it doesn't crash right back down within a 1 or 2 day period, you should see it trend upwards. So this is a phenomenal pick, David. I am actually playing this, and let's take a look at the option chain. So let's take a look at the option chain and see what option I want to buy. So Lucid. It also kind of coincides with my reading on Tesla because I do see Tesla trending upwards here to the 270 zone. So this could definitely be a sympathy type of play, or just a better value play overall. I mean, $10 billion company versus a 700-800 billion dollar company. What I would like to do is go a little bit out to the Santa Claus rally. So the 24th of November is today. I'd like to go to, let's see, the 15th and do some shopping here. And if we buy the $6 call, this is so cheap. Oh no, sorry, I'm sorry. That's November. Where's December? Why is this not showing in the money? Is nobody writing calls on this? I'm not sure. I haven't used Yahoo Finance in a little while, but I can't seem to find the calls. See, as it says here, it says everything for November. Where's my December? Okay, there it is. That's a little better. All right, December 22nd. The $6 call. Last price 4 cents. Oh my gosh! Nobody expects this to go up.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's
Kind
so
of sounds
cheap.
that way.
It's a four. It's the call is 4 pennies, and it's up.
Yes.
33% today. Um, this is really weird. I mean, okay, let's go up in here. I mean, even the $4 calls are 44 cents. This is a really weirdly traded stock, unless I'm looking at something off. But the option interest in this is abysmal.
Yeah,
Okay,
was
maybe.
it the 550 call is up to 66% today?
Yeah, yeah. Look at the 550. Yeah, I mean that's so cheap. I would just take a bunch of lotteries on this. This is you put $50 and you buy 10 of them. If it goes to $5, you got you got 5,000. No, 500 if it goes to a dollar. Sorry, if it goes to $5, by
You're talking
quick timing.
1,000% return.
It could be 1,000% return if by next week we see $5 and it's got probably a 3 weeks of premium on this. These are really cheap. I mean, I'm even reluctant to just go really far out here and just buy some leaps on this. Like if you buy the $5 February call, it's 33 cents. That is dirt cheap, in my opinion. And the market makers are just completely hammering this girl. I mean, they don't even think she has a chance. The market makers don't think she has a chance in hell. So definitely one to watch. It spooked me here that nobody thinks it's going up, but maybe I'm ahead of the pack. Usually we are. Um, and I'm gonna probably buy some leaps, David. I'm probably gonna buy either the January or the February calls here because they're cheap enough for me to afford it. And I'm gonna buy something with just a little bit of volume on it. Probably, either the $4 or $5. Oh, this one. Look at this one. Somebody knows something. The $7 call option for
For what
January
date?
19th,
For
2024. This has
January
the highest
19th.
open interest. Yeah, this has the highest open interest in all the calls I've seen. Coincides with my analysis, but obviously this is like, it's a 40%, ride up on the actual equity stock. So
You're
this
saying
is
on the $5?
$7.
$7.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
got
Oh, open interest 13,000.
13,000. So a lot of people probably bought this one. I'm assuming a while ago when it was higher and they had these as leaps. That kind of might drive the price towards there. I'm not an options expert. I do predict well. I can't predict all the options properly. But I'll tell you, David, I'm taking this long and I'm aiming for, minimum $6, maybe $7. A comfortable pick would be the $5 call. It's 22 cents for January. That's pretty good, guys. That's $20 that you're risking here to assume that the stock is going to rise 50 cent, 70 cents or 75 cents, right? And you're only risking $20, right? So the risk reward here, in my opinion, for a January call, which is 2 months out, is excellent. Excellent. I'm taking that call. $7 January. So I will put it on my chart here for everybody to see. Open calls
You can put it in the
January.
chat. So there's a chat feature on the right
Okay.
at the bottom
Yeah, I'll do that.
column.
Yep, I'll do that. January 19. Oh shit. 2024. $5 and $7. To anybody who looks at us, you can see this. I'll copy paste this. All right. On the chat here, I can put it in.
On the bottom right over by design. It's below designs. You have to scroll down the
Oh, I
screen,
got it.
maybe since you're on your laptop.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome.
There we go.
Yep. Yeah. These are honestly, I'll come back and revisit these, but I'm ready to kind of back it up a bit. But like, right now, I these are pretty cheaply priced. I'm surprised. I'm a little confused. It scares you when you don't see that other people are seeing what you're seeing, but that's the name of the game.
Right. All right. Well, why don't we move on to the next one so we get through these. Take a
Yeah,
quick look at
absolutely.
Rivian. That's RIVN.
Yeah, I heard that one popping up recently. I think
So
Amazon.
Rivian, um, while they make high quality trucks and SUVs,
Mhm.
they're expensive, but where they've really dominated is electric delivery vans for
Yes.
Amazon. And
Yes.
Amazon owns like 1/6 of the float. Or actually, they own
Wow.
1/6 of the company. They own 16 or 17% of Rivian. So once again,
Wow.
they've got Jeff Bezos in their back pocket here.
Yeah. I mean, their profit margins aren't okay, their profit margins are actually accelerating at a much faster pace than Lucid,
Mhm.
but I
Well,
I,
well, the
I
whole
think
EV
I think
industry
because
is
they're market
growing.
ready. They're in the
Well,
market already, right? Yeah.
yeah. Well, this is one of the things. Yeah, yeah. They've been delivering vans for a couple of years. You'll see the Rivian vans if you start paying attention where you're
Gotcha.
at. You'll see them with the Amazon, the blue vans. But
Mm,
the EV industry is expanding. And so it's definitely in growth phase. And there's some companies, there's one company we're going to talk about that's got some troubles. But for the most part, these companies, they're moving past the troubles.
yeah, I mean, they're all looking good. I mean, Rivian looks good here. I would buy Rivian too. I mean, there's no indication to me here that we're in crash mode. There's definitely a lot of capitulation that have occurred here in the last year. But this is kind of looking a lot like Lucid and Tesla. Again, it's in a downward channel. It's moving above its moving averages here for the 50-day and the 200-day. So to me, this is a great test of knowing if this is a strong stock to continue above here or if it's going to go below here and fall back down. I'd say this is a big test stage here. I reckon myself again that this is going to hold and that this is going to be probably the top of the trading range right here. And we are going to squiggly in the middle until we break out. And this is actually, again, I would definitely be looking to buy Rivian anywhere around here, the $15 mark, for a big explosion upwards. Um, I like it a lot. This is another great pick, David. This is, I mean, they're all looking like they're ready to pop. I mean, look, this is testing its downward trend resistance right now, and probably did break it in the aftermarket. I just can't see the price, but yeah, 1638. Okay, it's right at it. I reckon again that it will open anywhere around here and go back up to 17.50, $18 for that major test of where it dropped in November 6th earnings. As I can see, or November 8th earnings here, I can see that it tanked a little over 20% of a move there. Yeah.
All
So
right.
what do I think of Rivian? I like it. I think they're probably doing a lot better of a job than Lucid, and I do see a 17 on the short term horizon. I would like to buy this stock around $15. I think we'll get a small dip before we go higher. Just looking at the fibs here, purely based on the fibs. But again, if you're an investor, this is where you want to be buying EV. To be very honest with you.
Well, one of the
Uh,
things is, so they make two really high quality passenger vehicles. The Rivian R1T truck, which has a range of almost 400 miles, is probably the best pickup truck on the market. And the R1S, which is their SUV, may potentially be the best SUV on the market. It's definitely got build quality that's better than Tesla, and it's got a lot of really neat features, and it has
mm,
800 horsepower. So,
ooh,
yeah, I mean, it's crazy
what a
fast.
beast!
Yeah, so they make quality products, and then on top of that, they're making all the vans for Amazon. Now they've had some problems with the vans aren't getting the range. You and I, before we went on the call, we were talking about winter weather and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're having issues with things like air conditioning, loads, all this, where they may only be
Mm,
getting, they're supposed to be getting 200-mile ranges on the vans. They may only be getting 80 miles. And so there's been some issues with that, but they're working on that. And like I said, they're part of the Amazon family to a certain degree, even though Amazon only owns 1/6 of them. But it's
right.
still that's a huge chunk. And so as we've gone and looked at these, um,
Mm-hmm.
it's the next one I want you to take a quick look at is Amazon.
Oh, okay.
And so, and the reasoning is, I want you to just kind of compare how Amazon looks, and we're going to look at BTC as well, but how they look compared to, say, Tesla, Lucid, and Rivian.
Okay, let's
What you're just kind of seeing in the
side by
in the
side.
greater market.
Okay, well, Tesla, I mean, Amazon is looking like it's kind of toppy to me. So this is probably the end of the line here, in my opinion. Although on a weekly basis, excuse me, just give me a second. I just gotta bring my charger. Give me a second.
And then the stream ended because the
No, I'm
charger
back.
went dead.
Yeah, no, I'm back. I'm not that far back. So, so here's the market right now is in a really, really tricky spot. I don't like it. Okay. I really don't like where it's at. It doesn't make sense. We're pushing to the point where everybody's so bullish because of interest rates going on a pause, and everybody's like dumping all this money into the market, still not realizing the cost of borrowing is like 7, 8% and higher. I mean, there's only so far for these stocks to go, and so much returns that they can give to their investors, specifically, especially if these companies have debt. If they're carrying debt, their cost of debt is killer now. It's really bad. So I'm having a hard time, on dissecting the market and seeing how everybody's so bullish. But when we look at Amazon on a weekly basis, this is a really, really strong push here on the weekly. But again, I'm gonna hold my, you know, my line here and tell you that probably, Amazon will not see above $160. Now, if it does, the market's going to new highs. I mean, the market's just going to probably rip above like 4,700 on the S&P. That's the only way I can see Amazon going above $160. So, when you compare a company that's, 1.5 trillion to
Mhm.
a company that has a stock, of 10 billion or 15 billion on Rivian, it's a little tough to be able to tell where, if they're gonna, play off each other or have a sympathy off each other. So that's why I don't like to speculate that way particularly. But since they're related, let's look at the short time frames here. So we said Rivian, we like it. It's on upward trajectory. Let's take a look at Amazon. Yeah, Amazon is a little toppy, man. I don't see Amazon going much higher. So
Okay.
this could, and you know what? I mean, this happens. This happens a lot in the markets because they're in different industries. Amazon is what is it? Retail,
E-commerce. Yeah, retail and
e-commerce, and
e-commerce.
retail. Exactly, and this is like EV and consumer durables, right? So
Yeah.
it's a cycle. That's as much
Yeah.
as I
All
could
right.
say. I'm not bullish on Amazon. No way.
All right. Well, our next ones are some dumpster fires. Okay. So I'm going to introduce you to Mullen, Muln. This one is gone down about 99% in the past year,
Oh boy.
and there's questionable practices by the management team,
Oh
but
crap! Oh
their
my
their book,
God! It was $100.
yeah, their book
Oh,
value is like $3. Now,
oh my
I've had
God!
somebody, another podcaster, tell me, and he gave me some pretty good description of where
What did they
he's
do to the stock? It was like $5,000. What? Did they just reverse split this, or did they just
they've
like?
done some crazy stuff. They've done some
No, this is a
reverses.
criminal stock, David. I'm sorry. This is a criminal. I don't know what to tell you, brother. This does not look good at all.
No, it really. What's funny is they have all these great assets, and but the management team has done just some crazy stuff that just the market has not liked it, and they've been punished for it. And it
What?
only seems like the board is making any money off of this company.
What? Sorry. I'm sorry. I missed the point. What do they do? Automotive?
They make electric vehicles, and they bought a battery manufacturing plant from Nikola. They bought a Hummer manufacturing
Uh,
plant from GM. They bought
sounds like they're
Electric
buying
Last
all
Mile
the.
Solutions,
Sounds like they're
and
buying all the failed projects.
yeah, and they bought Bollinger Motors, and they're making
Yeah.
vehicles. They just started delivering their first vehicles about a month ago. And
This
I don't
is
know. I mean, I don't know if there's any hope for them. They've got enough
way too
cash to
thin.
last for a while, but
Yeah, I mean it's
it's
almost
really a
zero.
bizarre situation.
$18 million. What's their market cap? Let's take a quick look at their financials. They got $500 million in assets.
That's what's crazy about it. It's because they own all these factory former plants and different things. I was actually talking to somebody, to a friend, um, that they were saying, "Hey, we could buy 10% of this company and give you a board seat."
Hey, that won't be too bad. But you're
Yeah,
gonna be
I don't know
you're
if I
gonna be
want to have a
boarding.
board seat on
Yeah, you're
Mullen.
gonna be boarding negative negative
Yeah,
$50 million a year in EBITDA. So
yeah,
oh my gosh. Look, I'm not knocking this company. I think it's, or sorry, annually they're doing minus. Yeah, they're losing $100 million a year.
yeah.
Um,
It's
but I can
crazy.
see that they got some assets, which isn't too bad. You know what? This is a hit or miss. What are they paying themselves? Let me take a look. How are
I
they?
don't even think it's really that. I think that the leadership team, they all sold some stocks. They keep diluting the shares, and
Hmm.
they've done some really shady, parts of trading. I've tried to get them to come onto my podcast for an interview, and I haven't had much luck.
Yeah, okay, so as like a guy who trades and likes to take advantage of markets, this is too speculative for me to even comment on. because I don't know there's such. I'd have to like look into their fundamentals more than anything in this case. Uh, there's a case for it. Again, it's looking like all the other EVs, around its moving averages here, a little bit of bottomy, potential bounce.
I love what they're doing in the marketplace with some of their products. That they make like vehicles that would be used as smaller moving trucks or as large tow trucks that are in the electric space. And but they also have some cars and some other stuff. They're doing some stuff
It
that
seems
seems
too
pretty
vague. It
cool,
seems too
but
vague for me though.
it is. It is.
They need to
Anyways,
focus. Like Rivian is doing the trucks.
right.
NIO focus on certain things. Tesla's got the leader tech. These guys are trying to like buy old Nikola, buy Hummer, like failed projects. I mean Nikola itself is a disaster. I think it was a large scam. It was a huge fraud, from what I
Well, that might
understood.
be. That might be.
Right.
All right.
Uh,
So
I wouldn't
here,
touch this, David.
yeah. So let's
Yeah.
talk about Chinese maker. Let's talk about NIO.
Neo. Yeah, Neo.
Let's
Neo.
see what they're doing.
Neo Genomics, right? Is that the one?
Well,
Or Neo Performance?
1 second. It's
I
just
think this is the
NIO.
one. No, this is medical.
NIO's on the NIO is on the New York Stock Exchange. It's
Oh,
just NIO.
NIO, not N. Okay,
Oh,
gotcha.
did you
All right,
put
sorry.
NEO? Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, Neo. Recent visit by the Chinese president to the U.S. to
Yeah.
California.
So what's interesting about NIO is there's been a problem with electric vehicles getting insurance, okay, particularly in Europe. So the car manufacturers haven't known how best to insure them. So it's been a problem. So NIO kind of took the lead and they bought out an insurance company. And so they've added automobile insurance to their portfolio. And now BYD, I think, has done the same thing. It's kind of following them. But it's just kind of interesting to see this because this is one that has been around for a bit and just interesting to kind of see they're about the same price they IPO'd at, not much
Yeah, I
different.
noticed that. I know. I actually look at them like I might have bought Neo back in 2020. That's right. Yeah, just about here. I remember. I back in 2020 when the frenzy was there and everybody was just making, all kinds of money. I remember I bought Neo at like $20. Yeah, it must have been around here. Yeah, back in September. And I wrote it to like, yep, 40. Oh, I got out a little early. I wrote it to 40, went to actually 63. It's insane. And look at it today. I mean, the destruction in shareholder value has just been ridiculous, David. I mean, what if you were like some old mom and pop and your advisor buys you a lot of these stocks that are discretionary and are getting you in at the highs? I mean, what do you do now? You got to wait. You can't retire.
No,
I don't know.
no, it's a
I don't
problem.
know. It's terrible. I mean, every
Yeah.
stock is down like 60%, 70%, unless you're like the major top 10, top 20 in the S&P, you're down.
Well, and this is a Chinese stock. It is on the New York Stock Exchange, but it is a Chinese
Man,
brand.
I learned my lesson with Chinese stocks. I bought Baba, I bought Doyu, I bought JD Power, JD. I bought a bunch of these great stocks, excellent like fundamentals, but unfortunately because of the political turmoil and instability and grip, unfortunately, as I hate to say it, that the CCP has a lot on a lot of these companies, just doesn't put the merit there for growth for me. So I stay away because every time I've bought a Chinese stock, I've lost money. I tell you that. I have an excellent track ratio, maybe 80% win ratio in the market, which is ridiculous.
Mhm.
But every time I've bought a Chinese stock, I've lost money. I've never made money on China. So
Wow. You stay
it's
away.
funny. I don't know. I don't know. With the exception of 2020, but in 2020, I wasn't looking at the names of the stocks, to be honest with you. I was just buying anything that had a good chart. Um, but
So
unfortunately, yeah, no, Neo, I'm gonna stay clear a little bit. It looks okay on a bottomy type. I just don't trust. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, with all due respect, I just don't trust the Chinese politics.
yeah, that's okay. That's okay. It's
Yeah.
interesting to see how you liked the big three US EV makers and not the others.
Yes.
One last thing. So we're done with the
Yeah, of
stocks. We're going to
course.
talk about
Yeah, of
Bitcoin.
course. Yeah,
let's
let's
see
do
where,
it.
so
Bitcoin's
Bitcoin's
pumping.
been ripping for
Yes, it
pretty
has.
much for the past year. If you go back a year, it was at 17,000 or 16,000, and now it's at 37. So
Yes, it
we're up
was.
to, we've more than doubled. It's up about
I mean, David, I'll
120%.
tell you something, man. Bitcoin is looking a hell of strong. Oh my gosh, this is a beautiful chart. I mean, there's no reason Bitcoin is gonna go down here. I look. I told everybody in my Discord. I think you're part of it. Like, I stopped trading crypto probably a year and a half ago. I would say it was May of 2022. Yeah, it was around here, April and May. That was literally when I quit the crypto market. I took all my profits and walked away because I saw this zone break here. And this was initially what I like to call a supply zone right here. This was broken around 43,000, 44,000. Since then, I shorted the market. I remember I exited my short at around 32,000, and I just haven't touched it since, to be honest. I mean, I missed the crypto winter, is what they like to call it. I told all my platform followers that, above 32,000 or above 34,000, I'm a buyer again. I unfortunately haven't gotten around to buying yet, but again, as you can see here, this break, and I called it no man's land. Back in, a year ago, I said, guys, year and a half ago, I said, guys, it's no man's land. Do not touch anything under here. And that's, we did that. We didn't. And again, this break over here on the weekly chart above 33,000 signifies to me a super strong start of a new trend here on the upwards. And I mean, it could take us as high as 70,000. So
Nice.
I am very bullish Bitcoin. I just don't have any. Unfortunately, I gotta build my holdings back into the market. But I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. I'm very bullish on Ethereum. I mean, the Ethereum chart is even stronger. If you look at this chart is so ready to pop back into this up to this zone here, $3,500. And I mean, again, this was the resistance that we had identified just around here. My trend lines automatically drew it all the way down. We crypto wintered around here, and here we go again. About to go explosive, in my opinion. It's a big test for the crypto market this week. I think in the next 2 days. So by Sunday, as long as by Sunday Ethereum is above 2,000 or $2,050, we're going to see some fireworks up to 2,400. And I'm actually going to scramble here and try to get myself some crypto because this is
What
looking really easy. This is looking like an easy push, guys. Lots of momentum here. And
if
I think it also,
somebody
yeah,
if somebody was
yeah,
afraid to get into going out and getting a wallet and going through the trouble of buying a Bitcoin or Ethereum, but they wanted to do an ETF now that that's a thing, is
yeah.
there any that you would consider?
I don't actually know. To be
Don't
honest
have
with
an
you,
opinion yet?
I would never trade an ETF off of a security like Bitcoin or Ethereum unless I think there's spot ETFs now. Is that right? I think there's BTC spot.
Well, I'm looking at one called BTCC that's out of Toronto.
Okay.
And if you pull it up, it's BTCC,
Uh-huh.
Purpose Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you look at it for the past 6 months or the past
Well, the
year,
problem, yeah.
it's exactly the same as the Bitcoin chart.
It probably would. Yeah, it probably would correlate to it. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that for sure, even down to this.
You,
The thing that I don't like about ETFs, David, is sometimes you just don't know some of the weight, the entire weight. Now, if it is a ETF for Bitcoin spot 100%, the issue is this. Sometimes and I guess this is not a leveraged ETF, so it's okay. I learned a very tough lesson about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe. I was trading gold, and I was trading gold off of an ETF that is leveraged. So it was like a 2x leverage or 3x leverage ETF. See, at the time, I didn't realize what leverage was or what the ETF leverage, indicated. And the issue is every night, every trading day, it goes based off of the momentum of the actual, like, daily trade of 8 hours. It's not the actual tracking of the actual gold. It does track it to where it goes, but it tracks the momentum of its rise and fall and its drop as opposed to its actual percentage gain. So I would feel decayed. I held the security for over a month at one time, and I would wake up every day, gold would be higher, but my stock wouldn't move or it'd be lower. And I would be like, what? How is this possible? Did a lot of research and realized that ETFs actually do decay, especially the ones that are leveraged. They essentially do something called decay on a daily basis, where you like lose the additional amount of gain that would have happened when the market wasn't open. So
Mhm.
it's like essentially like a momentum gauge or like a momentum indicator, And I just didn't like that, so I stayed away from a lot of these like commodity ETFs. I kind of stayed away from it since then. I would say to people, if you want to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, either go the classic way, you can go to coinbase.com and just do the mainstream way. You can find a broker. You can do that one too. Like, Binance or what I know Binance moved out of certain places now, but the likes of Bitstamp and etc. And my final suggestion would be a forex broker. So some forex
Okay.
brokers do offer CFDs and leverage on coins and crypto, the major ones. I use one not for any promotional purposes. I use a broker called Blueberry Markets. It's a forex trader out of Australia. They do have the major coins. Now, I have never opened the coin on there. I just like to trade what I know, specifically in forex wise, but you can open trades using forex brokers on these products. Again, remember, forex brokers close on the weekends, so you're at a disadvantage if you do take a position before the weekend because you're essentially blind for 3 days and your position can be liquidated. Because crypto trades 24/7. So just be wary, guys, and probably go the basic way. Open a MetaMask wallet or open a Trust wallet or sign up for an exchange and deposit a couple of bucks and learn the ropes that way, in my opinion.
All right, well, great, great. Adib, I really appreciate you coming on today. I hope you keep coming on and doing these with me on Fridays.
Of
This has been
course.
great
Absolute pleasure.
information. I'm going to go ahead, everybody. Thanks for listening in on whatever channels you may be tuned into.